The McLaren MCL 60 is out. We've seen it, the papaya, the blue. We're going to have a look, give my opinion on a livery that hasn't changed much, but actually when you dive into the details, there's a little bit more going on. Before then, taking a look at my version, my redesign of the livery with a little help of McLaren themselves. Livery number 6 of 10. Let's go. The immediate reaction was always going to be, it's the same, because broadly speaking, it is very similar to last year. A few sponsors have moved around. We've got Chrome on the front wing this year. You got DP World as well. They signed with McLaren just like a week before the car launch. But now the main difference, at least at first glance, is that there seems to be a lot more carbon fibre on the design. I will say though, rear wing is mainly orange all the way over the top, which we didn't see on last year's car. McLaren have this colour palette now, the papaya, the light blue, and they're rolling with it, they're being consistent with it, which I think at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, from a marketing point of view, it's very important. If you want to build that legacy that I've talked about time and time again, like Red Bull are doing at the moment, like McLaren used to do back in the day of the Marlboros. It is nice seeing a bright colour on the grid. Of all the livery designs we've seen up to this point, none of them have really screamed and shouted. The bright red on the Haas isn't much there. Williams is mainly darker blues. The Alfa Romeo red is brighter, but not the brightest. This will pop for sure. I do still think it's a little bit fiddly with the blue. The thin strips around the kind of air box and alongside the nose just aren't really my cup of tea. I'm glad they've changed the colours of the numbers to black instead of the light blue last year, because actually the blue and the orange do clash when they're kind of directly together. But as you actually look at the livery, you'll see that the blue and the orange actually never touch. There's always at least some kind of black line, carbon line going in between. It's difficult to get really excited about a livery when it's not new, when it is the same pretty much as the year before. But in isolation, it is a very, very strong looking car. Certainly in the top half, I guess. We'll see when it comes to my tier list at the end of all this. But not bad, McLaren. I'm pretty happy. So this is the part where I step up to the plate and show you my redesign, but we're going to do it a bit differently this time because, well, we've got a guest. I was invited to McLaren on Monday, got to see the car in person, invited down by Google/YouTube actually, so shout out. Obviously Google Chrome is a big sponsor on this car, so it all ties in, and I got to chat to a certain
Lou McEwen. I'm the Executive Director, Brand and Marketing. Part of my role is working with my team. We produce the stunning liveries that run on all of our race cars.
Everyone's going to have an opinion on what you do because it's very visual. As we all know, everyone's got an opinion on the livery designs. What do you think the biggest misconception that people have fans generally have looking from the outside in? What do you think the biggest thing that people don't necessarily understand?
Well, firstly, you're totally right. Liveries are very, very emotive topics, and we know they're really important to our fans, and we really appreciate what our fans think about our liveries. But I think it's very easy to judge a livery from the outside, but actually not really knowing the technical nuances that going into the car design, because it's all very well designing a great-looking car, but it's also got to aid performance and give us the best technical advantage we possibly can have on track.
There was a lot of talk of this last year. Going to the new regulations, all these liveries come out, yourselves included, a lot of papaya on the car. Over the course of the year, it seemed to lose some of that orange and go back to more carbon. Was that a conversation that came up super early doors with the performance team being like, guys, we need to save some weight on this car and unfortunately we're going to have to take some orange off of it? Papaya, sorry, correct terminology.
So for us, that issue got flagged way earlier last year.
Okay.
We kind of went into Bahrain knowing we had a weight issue, which we resolved. We worked really hard with our aero team and surface and brand to reduce weight, and we did that. We did that brilliantly. So to be honest, we then had progression of our livery through last season, taking account for upgrades. So where we are now, actually, weight's not really the issue at all. We've actually got more papaya on the car this year, going across the rear wing elements. So we're back to a good place. But I think that there's a good balance between that weight and then obviously the papaya works really hard for us on track. So you don't actually need a huge amount of it. It really gives good standout.
That's true, actually. I think a criticism I've seen levelled at a lot of the cars kind of this year is that you've got blues and reds that are quite, but the papaya stands out from a mile off, and especially kind of night races as well. That's kind of super important. Also, I wanted to ask about the blue, because you did transition from a kind of darker blue before you went to the more kind of the blue that we know.
Yeah, our original blue was a Burton blue, and it was a much deeper blue. And to be honest, we've got the blue. It's a legacy colour for us that stems from our Indy car and what our original cars. But we've just progressed it because, to be honest, as we've made our papaya more vibrant, we wanted a complementary colour to go with it, and a complementary colour that also works across our merchandise and will appeal to fans.
Did you consciously find yourself kind of looking at the other cars on the grid and being like, well, we want to stand out? Because obviously it's an advertising board. You want to make sure you stand out relative to everyone else. Was that a consideration going into the design process there?
Yeah, I mean, when we made the switch, if you look back through the years, we're obviously looking back, it's our 60th birthday, right? And we have a really colourful past. You can see the cars on the boulevard, right? So I think we have really iconic liveries that have informed our past. But actually, when we made the switch to Papaya, it's now about the future, and without taking into account a title partner or powertrain, coming back to something which fans, this is for the future, and our fans love it, and it's completely ownable and unique to us. As you probably know, it was the colour chosen by Bruce McLaren back in the day. It worked brilliantly back on black and white TV, actually, and it was a native fruit of New Zealand.
And then we've seen over the last particularly over the last, I'll say, 5 years, McLaren in particular, this like explosion of new partners, new sponsors on the car. And I guess that's a challenge for you as well, because you want to showcase all of them. You want to shout them all out to the world and put them on your car, but you only have so much space. There's a finite amount of space on the car. So especially kind of, I know DP World was only announced kind of last week as well.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? Because that must be, it's easy for me to sit here and make a design on Photoshop, boom, chuck it out to the world. Oh my God,
Yeah, so we're very lucky to have a brilliant partner portfolio on our car. There's not a lot of room left at the moment, which is a fantastic.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a brilliant problem to have as we go into the season. That's testament to all the guys up in commercial who've worked really hard. So you mentioned DP World, but yeah, lots of our partners, they all need their space on the car. They need space to breathe. They don't want to be stacked up next to a brand. They've got to have really good standout on track as well. And they've all got their own nuances. And hope the best brands we adopt to the car to make sure they fit the spaces we've got, because it's not like just sticking a brand on a flat surface. You've got contours. You need to adopt the logos really to get the best effect on track. So we'll work with our partners to achieve that.
I've had a go myself.
Oh, okay.
And I like to, as you well know, the video you're watching at the moment is my version of the McLaren 60th anniversary car.
Can I have a peep?
Go on then, take a look.
Well, good news, it's Papaya.
Nailed it.
Where's the blue?
Yeah, I'll drop the blue.
Okay. What was your rationale on that?
In my personal opinion, I prefer it without the blue. So cool. I think that just having that stark contrast of the Papaya and the black, which obviously would be carbon, to save weight. That's what I like.
I like your speed mark details on your wheels.
So you noticed that? So
I noticed that straight away. Our chrome wheels, which obviously is what...
Of course. But chrome's still got, pride of place up the top.
And you've given Android and Chrome both branding. They'll love that.
I have. Yeah,
they're going to love it.
I've also put McLaren on the side because you do make road cars. So there is a road car business to promote.
A lot of cars run their brands on the side of the car.
Alpine do,
yeah. No, I like that. Rear wings, not too dissimilar to what we've just launched.
No. If you propose this livery, exactly as it is, to be on the car, what are the things that would be a problem? What's placed in a way that maybe isn't legible enough or wouldn't work with the panels at first glance?
Yeah, the panels are the bit that I was going to come on to, because having the panel sections, the team design all the panel sections really closely. So once we've got the actual car design in from Aero, we'll then make the cut lines and the livery work together, because obviously when you're swapping panels out at races, you've got to get all the branding to line up. Looking at the kind of rear end, the lower engine cover, a lot of Papaya there. That's kind of a heat sensitive area where we're in a good place, I think, from testing so far. But typically that might be where it gets quite hot.
Okay.
So that would be an area we would kind of keep a little bit clearer. And I think...
Is that because of potential kind of thermal marks on the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can...
Because I guess the exhausts are around there, so...
That's a really hot area of the car, not necessarily down here on the floor, but rear wing, all looks... In theory, that's all going to work. That's all good. Well done. You've done all right. You've done all right on that.
Happy days.
Halo in theory works. That's not going to be a problem. We're missing a few brands on the chassis top that you see on the onboard, but that's fine. I'll let you get away with that.
I did ask for early access, but understandably I wasn't given it. So,
no, that's fine. 38. What number's 38?
I put 38 on all my liveries. I don't know why. It just became a thing. Sorry, Oscar and Lando.
No, that's good. That's good. And then just coming down the nose, I'm just looking. You've got a few issues on your front wings. We've got some clear areas that we have to keep aerodynamics clear of. So you're probably encroaching into spaces where we wouldn't put branding in certain places.
And is that because these are stickers that are printed and put? So you got the base colours, and then the stickers are placed on top of them. So they
no.
Or are they built in?
Everything's built in. We need to make sure, in order to keep the airflow as flat as possible and not disrupt airflow, it's all printed on, and we do that here.
Oh, wow.
So there's no bumps whatsoever. So if you run your finger along it, it's totally smooth.
Because I've definitely seen in the past of other teams where they have had, you can see, and I know you had the tape that goes between the panels as well. So that's all part of that, right?
There'll be certain places on the car where it doesn't matter if you've got a slightly raised sticker, but on certainly the front wing elements like that, which are really aerosensitive, you want no disruption. It's obviously very thin, lightweight vinyl as well. So there's a real craft in that. I saw some of them finishing the car yesterday. It was just, it's an incredible craft that they do.
Yeah, I tried to wrap my wing mirror a few weeks ago, and I ended up throwing it across the kitchen because I couldn't do it. So imagine doing that whole car. I could do that.
You're not so far off.
You've got
There's a few tweaks here and there.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we in the ballpark?
You're in the ballpark. We'd need to take
down
some papaya off a few bits here and there.
Yeah.
Bit of rebalancing to be done, I think.
Okay.
And we'd missed the blue from our team kit this year.
You want to bring the blue back?
Well, it's all got to tie up, isn't it?
No,
That's the only thing.
if you're going to put it on the merchandise, then you've got to put it on the car as well. So, and out of 10, be honest. My ego can take it. Oh, okay. I'll take a 7.
Give you a 7.
Oh, I'll take that. That's good.
No, it's good.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Lou.
Thanks for your inspired design.
Done. That's a wrap. Mic drop. I'm not going to drop it. As always, let me know your thoughts and feelings down in the comments below. What did you think of mine? What did you think of theirs? And what did you think about what Lou had to say? Really interesting insight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you did. My name's Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.